I grew into a very violent household. My biological father was a very abusive man. My mum was my absolute hero, and so she escaped that and went on to meet my stepfather. He was a working man. He worked very, very hard and provided us with a good home. And my mum seemed really happy, and for me as a child, seeing her happy was, just amazing. From there, I had an older brother, so he started then sexually abusing me. It's difficult because I never talk about it, and I always promised myself that I would never shed like another tear for him. Anyway, and then one day my brother had went with his friends to a barn in our local village, and he died in a fire. But when I went into the living room and my mum was there and my stepdad and my aunties turned up and they're all in tears, I felt nothing but relief. My mum had this feelings towards him, and he just didn't deserve that. I really, really wanted to set her straight. And but then she developed cancer. My dad started to struggle to look after my mum. I took a lot of time off work and helped care for my mum. And during that time of helping my dad and my mum, my dad took ill and went to hospital, and he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. My mum died, and then 32 days later, my dad passed away as well. And then one day I was in work, and I was doing a one-to-one with one of my staff members, and they had mentioned being sexually abused as a child. And it was just like this switch of light, came on, and I could not get that out of my head. I was reliving every experience that I'd ever been through. I was finding, with my own family and my own kids, I found it really hard to relate when they were upset. I found it really hard to relate when they were happy, and I couldn't feel the happiness that they felt. Growing up, having a stepdad, he wasn't an emotional man. He was a man's man, and he was a fisherman, and didn't show emotion, never took an interest in school or anything like that. And I wanted to be the complete opposite of that, and I promised myself that my kids would have all of that, and there I was, and I wasn't giving them that. I had been referred to speak to psychiatrists and psychologists, but the waiting list was so huge, and the medication wasn't working, and I wasn't getting the opportunity to speak to people. So I had decided that I couldn't live with these images anymore. They had ruined they ruined my memories of childhood. They ruined creating memories with my children, and it just got too much. So I smashed up a room in my house, actually, in front of my wife. Drove away up to a village close to here, and I attempted suicide. My wife was obviously really concerned. She had an idea of where I would go, and sent the police there. Without my wife doing that, then I wouldn't be here. They took me to a mental health hospital, and I remained there for 3 months. My work, ill health, retired me from my job. So essentially I spent 5 years out of work, and I would say for 4 of those 5 years were spent in my bed. My occupational therapist had suggested that I go into this course called Employ Your Mind with FEAT. So FEAT are Fife Employment Access Trust. It was getting you to focus on next steps, or a bit of whatever that your next step was to be. But I chose to focus on employment and my CV. They ran sessions called CRT, which is Cognitive Remediation Therapy.
So today we're going to be spending a little bit of time doing some cognitive remediation therapy games.
They're very relaxed and enjoyable experiences, so you're not aware that you're actually doing therapy. It just feels like you're having fun, but it actually supports your cognitive thinking and your improvement in memory. And I just had this overwhelming desire to be part of that. I really, really wanted to be part of that. It just so happens that an opportunity arose, and was absolutely lucky to land the role. The impact that getting a career has on somebody that's been absent with a mental health condition is that it gives them structure, it gives them routine, it gets them out of the house, it gives them that social interaction that their mental health condition might have robbed them of. Just been unable, gaining employment and coming off of benefits, and hopefully having that same experience of me, of being again a positive role model within their own family life, is the most rewarding job you could ever hope for. FEAT have given me my life back. They have given my family their dad back, their husband back. They've given me confidence, they've given me belief, they've given me ability and tools to overcome day-to-day anxieties that I face. And without FEAT, I don't know where I'd be today.